Hi guys, and thank you for joining me. This is going to be your 2015 review reading. I know it's coming in the end of January. However, I think that it's still going to provide you guys with all the questions that you have. So answer all the questions that you have for the month. I'm reading with the Alexander Daniloff Tarot deck, and I'm using only the trumps from his deck. But the deck with the lower arcana, which is all 78 cards, I am selling on my website, and you can get the link below. I believe this deck is one of the best decks out there, and that's why I chose it. So, without further ado, let's begin your reading. Hi Cancer, and thank you for joining me today. I'm reading for your 2015 overview reading. So I'm excited to do that for you right now. I'm just shuffling the 22 cards of the 78 card deck by Alexander Daniloff, and so that's the deck I'm going to read for you. And I hope that you had a happy new year, and I'm excited to read for you guys. Let's just cut the cards and begin right off the bat. Oh cool, Wheel of Fortune right at the center, modified by the Chariot card. No, you're really breaking free of the past. Well, lots of celebration for you. Be careful of drinking too much. I think you may find something out about your relationship that you're not happy with. It's going to be creating a situation where you don't ever look at it again, but you're going to really face it in a strong way, and so that's going to be something that is in your court. Now, don't think that this is the destruction of your relationship. This is something that a bargaining chip maybe. Maybe you've been in a situation where the other person has the upper hand, and you've learned that something, and now you get the upper hand. So it could be very much in your favor, it could be very much in your favor, depending on which kind of Cancer you are. But expect for more on that in part 2 of this video. Now, for you, your luck is shifting in a big way, and you're really rising up in the world and coming into your own. But also, a lot of fish are thrown your way. Fish, I mean, good luck. You know, good things are coming your way, and you're kind of celebratory this year. I think that, yeah, you're celebrating quite a bit, and you're creating new opportunities in new directions. And I think that maybe in your close family and friends, somebody is getting married. Again, I'll talk about that in part 2. Be careful with partying too much. Let's see. I think that you've kind of waited out your turn, and now it's time to get fair. And I think that you have a good sense of things coming fair for you, and you're kind of expectant of that. I think that you yourself may come into contact with a partner or a person who you feel really, what's the word? Inspired by, and when you guys come together, it's going to be kind of a big click where you feel like a really strong relationship is going on, and you guys both yourselves manifest a lot of positive energy. The outcome card is more self-study, more self-work, but it comes from a different place than where you were last year. I think that this year, when you come to this place in the outcome, it comes from a place of luxury and comfort. So out of having all your needs met, you're able to really kind of calmly take a look at things and allow things to happen. In fact, I think if you have any brothers and sisters, they could have a situation going on for them where the destruction of their relationship is happening, and you're kind of watching and helping along the way, regardless of whether it's a brother or sister. So let's begin in the card by card analysis of your reading. At the center of the reading, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is talking about chances and new beginnings and having your fortune thrown at you. And so when you think that things are not going to go your way, then the shift of fortune is pleasant and surprising. In fact, even if you are thinking things are going to go your way, you may be very pleasantly surprised by the positive shifts of fortune. Life is just throwing more and more at you. And this card is often debated about whether it's the shift of focus for the positive or for the negative, but I think that that's not necessarily. I've thought about this, and I used to read that card that way in the both senses of the word going up and down. But I think life, this is a card about life, and so essentially it's talking about the progression of life, and the progression of life is always in a positive direction. So even though that life events sometimes hold us back, the greater narrative of our life is always progress to self-understanding, mutual understanding, growth and love. And so even when we're deterred from that, because we do go through things that are very deterring of happiness in general, the greater umbrella of life in general is a shift of luck for the better. It's an improvement of the people and circumstances that we've known before, and knowing better people and circumstances and being blessed to be in those opportunities is the shift of fortune that the Wheel of Fortune is talking about. A lot of this card is also associated with God and also the blessing from God. And so from the blessings of God, you are given chances and fortune in different directions, particularly somebody who is a Sagittarius, Scorpio cusp, or a Sagittarius person. They may be important for you. Another Cancer person may be important for you. And then also Aquarians. So look out for those people throughout the year. And remember, this will manifest for you in a variety of ways. It just doesn't mean one situation. It can mean several different circumstances that you're involved in. What's crossing it is the Chariot card. So you are championing, you are going over your circumstances of the past, and you have succeeded. And so now you are martyred. You are martyring yourself. You are overcoming, and the staple of good faith and industry, and not industry so much as what's the word? Empire. So you have the Greco-Roman symbol of empire here. And in fact, this card is associated with your sign as well. So this is the card of you emotionally coming over circumstances with the balance of the sun and the moon, lifting the shroud and allowing you to go through that door. You're allowed to move forward. And so this is the celebration and the happiness, the celebration in heaven for your ability to move forward in life. And this may have been long coming. You may have waited a long time for this opportunity to arise, but you had stuck to your guns, and you waited, and you fed yourself full of positives and got yourself ready for that opportunity, and now you're ready to take it. So you will take it, and you will persevere in good directions, and you will be successful and achieve those things that you need to achieve. So this is the year of you just being blessed. And so make sure to share it with others because you are so good at sharing. So try to do that. Sticking to your guns is a strong suit of Cancer, I think. In the social sphere, taking chances in new directions and finding some happiness there. You may also find a devil or two, so someone who likes to go for drinks lots, someone who wants to keep going and partying, someone who doesn't want to slow down. But yeah, the Fool says going in different directions, taking chances with things, and trying your hand at new things, new circumstances. This is the social sphere, so you may be exposed to new people. A lot of these people are blessing you with a lot of kindness and a lot of generosity. There may be new opportunities for you in terms of business and work pursuits. But also be careful, because there may be some people who are throwing some curveballs at you. So remember, when we're being blessed, there's always someone who's in the sidelines watching, who's begrudging you for having what you have. And so just be careful of those people and stay wary, because they are around. They may also see that you're kind of open and you're receiving a lot and your life is bright and shiny, and so they may want to intervene with that. And that's what happens sometimes. People step in and they're like, okay, well, let's see what I can influence. Also, you may actually fall in love with a bit of a devil, someone who really has a bit of a lifestyle issue, someone who you know, gets kind of, someone who gets off on, you know, partying or being shallow. You may find yourself in a bit of a shallow relationship, no matter how much you try to work through it, to talk your way through it. You're going to keep on facing the same thing, and remember that it's not you, it's the relationship, and that's the nature of that person. So you have to work within the confines of that relationship, and that's what you're going to get. But if you focus on the good, then the bad will just be kind of a sidebar. So just you have the sun next to it, which overshines everything that's negative about this card, and in which case it makes particularly the devil, and the funnest manifestation of the devil is having fun and partying, and he's jovial and not too serious. But when you're dealing with real circumstances in life where you need to be serious, then just focus on the good, and really fight on giving any energy to the negative or to the dark aspect of things, because those dark aspects or those dark influences are just going to pester. They're there to pester. It's nothing that's deep about it. It's nothing that's significant. You've gone through what you have gone through, and those were the significant experiences. This is just the mockery of it. This is how these things work. So just shift in new directions and get excited, but be cautious and use your best judgment in these new encounters with people. In particular, your encounters within the confines of school, religion, or even marriage relationships may become, in the terms, okay, I'll bring it back here. In terms, you may actually befriend a couple, in which case, if you do befriend a couple, then one of the partners will be good and one of the partners will be bad. For the majority of you, the male partner will be good, and the female partner will have these kinds of harboring jealousy or resentment towards you. In which case, just be cautious and just stick within really formal lines of how to behave, and don't rock the boat. And this person, see, normally in a situation like this, I would just say walk away. But this person is the sun, so this person is really life-giving and giving you lots of opportunities and chances. So it's not really necessarily your best interest to step away from the relationship and turn your back on it. So you may end up choosing to want to stay in that. In fact, the male person in that relationship may be able to allow you to step into an educational role, into an educational avenue. And so in the undercurrent of what's going on, we have the Magician. So you've really manifested for yourself some reality. I do get the sense that you are kind of displaced from your life's events for a time, and that you have been on pause orchestrating your comeback in life. And so that comeback is really going to kick in this year, and I think you're going to start really seeing the manifestation of the energy. So you've been controlling your keeping a tab on your energy and taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself and being able to come into your own, and then setting up the ability to go forward and to graph out your destiny, to make your own destiny, and then combine everything together to make a reality for yourself. So you're really working hard in kind of creating a reality for yourself, and that's really coming from a pragmatic place of silence and personal perseverance, personal determination, personal focus, and really kind of creating that for yourself through those kinds of lenses. So working really hard to make something of yourself or for yourself, and then move forward in a new direction. And maybe as you're making this transition here, the outward manifestation of this, another thing I thought maybe you're transitioning into school, and that's going to become your kind of environment. And I think that for some of you, particularly if you're in that school age, maybe your parents are kind of torn as to how they support you, and so maybe one parent is really supportive and uplifting, while the other parent is having a hard time with it and kind of getting in your way. So that's going to be another way that manifests for you this year. Or also, if any kind of institution that you start interacting with this year, you may find that support from your parents, where one part is really okay with it and is kind of a catalyst for you in that direction, whereas the other one is quite the opposite, almost throwing obstacles in your way and not seeing it your way. So I think that you'll be going through a bit of a path and going through some choices that will lead you to some destiny, some real influences on you may come from soulmates or people who you have really significant relationships with. You may be asked to balance things. You of yourself have created certain realities, but you have to kind of manifest those realities and implement them in your life and apply them, and that's going to be the year for you to do that. So that's on the undercurrent. You're really kind of having this private power party, I guess it's called. And you know, Cancer kind of likes that. They like their personal space to brood and to create in a positive way. I think that you go deep, and you're going to go deep within yourself and make some decisions that are autonomous. And I think that in part you've already made some decisions that are autonomous, so good for you with that. And then the situation that's influencing your circumstances, we have the High Priestess as having insight and intuition into the life that you're leading and how that influences your life and how you need to bring it forward. I think that your world, you've been looking beyond the veil into the greater archetypes and thinking in an abstract way. I think that this has been a massive abstract experience for you the last several months, and I think that the implication of those experiences have been the implications of those experiences have been a lot to grapple with, as there's a lot of paradoxes there's a lot of competing information, there's a lot of things that contradict themselves, and so you will be facing the contradiction between the variety of different things that you're dealing with. And then you yourself will be kind of dealing with the perpetuation, or you have been dealing with the perpetuation of matter. I think that you see the consolation of some of these things and how they're going to work out. However, the manifestation of that is going to take some time for you to work out to a situation that's conducive to you. I think that you've been waiting to seek out justice, and I think that justice is going to be served, and I think that justice is going to be served in your favor in many respects. And I think that can be legal or kind of the principle of the matter. I think that you have the insight about what the truth is, and that truth is beyond good and evil. It's beyond justice and injustice, and it's really kind of tied into like really deep intuitive moments within yourself that you can't even articulate at times, and so it's really in touch with the stars and the skies and all those different things. And I do get the sense that there's some kind of interview that you've had to have with regard to money, and then that's going to resolve itself. Whether you have a bad reference in the past, maybe you've made some choices and talked about it openly, and in which case, if you have a bad reference, then that's going to reconcile for you in your favor. And so you're just waiting. You've been waiting for things to come together, and you've been waiting for things to resolve themselves, and by the beginning of 2015 they will be. So overall, there's a lot for you to grapple with, a lot of really positive change, and you yourself are really manifesting in some real real new ways. I think that you're setting off, you've been waiting to set off in new directions, and I think that 2015 allows you to do so. And I think that something's been holding you back in a certain way, and now you're able to move forward. But expect that, don't be a target, you know, in your excitement of moving forward. Don't become a target to predators. Don't become a target to people who may want what you have, especially when it's new for people. That's when they become very, very there's a high chance of them, you know, experiencing that. And so just be cautious with that. With this, we finish up part number 1, and now we're going to move on to part number 2. So just click over here in order to watch it. Thank you very much, Cancer. Make sure to give me a thumbs up for this video. Leave a comment below. Click through to my sponsors in the bottom of the video here, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.